Greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, I've got another exciting video for you. We're starting a new lab series. What could it be? What could it be? So yes, I'm doing a new lab series. I still have Windows Lab going on. We haven't given up on it. We're still doing it. Baby steps, folks. We have our Synology Lab series of videos, which I've got another video coming out perhaps this week, maybe next week. We'll see. And so now I've decided I want to play with VMware again. So what this is going to be is the VMware lab. So we're going to have a Windows lab, a VMware lab, we're going to have Synology in our lab, and we're going to show how we tie all this stuff together. Now the next question that needs to be answered is, what version of VMware are you going to use? So I'm going to be using ESXi version 6.7, and the reason I'm going to be using it is because I'm putting it on my two Dell R710 servers. I have a high-powered Dell R710 with 2.5-inch drives and an X5670 Xeon processors, two of those, with I think 32 mega RAM in one of those. The other one has some low-end low-power 5640 processors with 96 gig of RAM. And I am going with ESXi 6.7 because it's the last version supported on those old servers with those old CPUs. Now, I could have gone with Proxmox. I could have gone with XCP-NG, but I've done XCP before. I wanted to look into Proxmox, and I did, but unfortunately Proxmox, the newest version, doesn't support some of the older Mellanox cards I have in those Dells, so I would lose their functionality. The other thing, the other problem with Proxmox, I'm not a big fan of the interface. I'll just tell you that right now. And, you know, I'm a GUI guy. But under Proxmox, you've got to do a lot of stuff. When you want to pass through devices, you've got to do a lot of stuff at the command line, and I'm just not interested in jumping through those hoops. So the beauty of ESXi is, with the version I'm running, is you can just toggle pass through devices and then reboot the server and you're good to go. So ease of use is one of the reasons I want to do it. Okay, so here we go. So what I'm doing is I'm coming into a remote desktop of a Windows 7 virtual machine so that I can run the iDRAC controller. Alright, so first thing I want to do is connect up my virtual media, so that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to add an image, which is all the way up in the root on this C drive with 124 ISO. And there should be an update 3 for Dell right there. So we're going to open that and then we're going to map that. Alright, and then we'll come back here and we'll power on this system. Now we're also going to need to press the F11 key to go into the BIOS boot manager. Now, all the controllers in these Dell R710s are now pass-through controllers, both in the 2.5-inch and the 3.5-inch unit that we'll be doing as well. So yeah, these are 2.93 gigahertz 6-core processors. So it's going to be off virtual CD that it boots off of. There we go. Alright, so a few minutes later, and finally we've booted, so I'm going to press enter to continue, and I'm going to do F11 to accept and continue. Now, this might get a little sketchy here, because we've got a lot of hard drives in here. We've got 8 spinning hard drives, and one SSD. So we got to be careful where we select our drive that we want to install this to. So I'm going to go through all of these, and hopefully there it is. There's the Kingston 256 gig hard drive. So that's what I'm going to install it onto. So I've highlighted it. Now I'm going to hit the enter key, and it's warning me there's existing data on it. So make sure you've got a backup if that's the case with you. And then we'll give it a root password, super secret password. Hit enter, and it's going to warn us that the CPUs in the future may not be supported, and then we're going to give it F11 and give it authorization to install. And yeah, we'll let that install. All right, so our install has completed, so we're going to hit enter to reboot. All right, so now we're booting off the internal SSD, and hopefully it will come up here, and then we will have an opportunity to go out and change the IP address on it. We're also going to disable IPv6. I have no use for it, so I'm going to do F2 to customize. And then I'm going to enter my super secret password. Hit enter. Oh, didn't like it. Okay. Oh, probably because the caps lock was on. Pay close attention. Don't be like Unky Joe. Don't leave the caps lock on. All right, so now we're going to configure the management network. And we're going to go to IPv6, and we're going to turn that off. And then we're going to go to IPv4, and we're going to set a static IP, and that one is going to be 192.168.5.10. And it's already got my gateway and my subnet mask, so we'll accept those and hit enter. The DNS configuration, we need to give it a host name. So I'm going to use the following address and host name. And I'm going to call it ESXi. Let's do it in caps. ESXi-Dell R710-HP, and then we'll hit enter, and it should have already filled in Unky Joe's Playhouse.local, and it has, so we'll hit escape, apply the changes and reboot the host, yes, and then it should restart. Alright, so we've rebooted, and ESXi is coming back up, and hopefully once it boots up here, we'll have an IP address of 5.10. And then what I need to do is go ahead and log in to ESXi. And I need to go out, and I want to pass through the hard drive controller to the physical machine. I don't want ESXi controlling. I don't want to be able to pass that controller through in a virtual machine to whatever virtual machine or operating system I decide to go with. So what I need to do is come into 5.10 here and log in. All right. So we'll log in as root with our super secret password. All right, so there we go. It's up. So now what I need to do is come over here to manage, and I'm going to go to hardware, and then we'll look for a PC. It's not the fastest in the world, is it? So I could, in theory, pass through the Mellanox ConnectX adapter as well. I could pass through one of these gigabit network controllers. I've got the H200 integrated controller, and that's what I want to pass through. So I'm going to click on there, and I need to toggle pass through. Okay, and then I need to reboot the host. Come on, time and date. There we go, finally. So I'm going to go to Edit Settings, and I'm going to use the Network Time Protocol. I'm going to stop and start with the host. And then I'm just going to type in pool.ntp.org. So it'll pick a time server to sync with. And let's go to Services. NTP daemon, go ahead and start it. Come back to System. This interface is slow. And let's refresh. There we go, 10:12 UTC. Okay, great, it's perfect. All right, so let's come back up here to host and we can reboot it. Let's go ahead and reboot it. All right, so now it's time to do the same thing over on the Dell R710 with the 3.5-inch drives. So I'm going to enter the BIOS boot manager. As you can see over here, I've got that image mounted again as a virtual DVD drive. So we'll just wait for the BIOS to boot up. So same deal here. It brings up the BIOS boot menu, and we're going to boot off the virtual CD, I hope. So we're going to hit enter. Hit enter again. And enter again, and good. So now we're booting. So now I'll get ESXi installed on this unit. You don't need to see me do that again. Alright, so let's get this one configured now. As you can see, it's at 5.50. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on those two 5670 CPUs. I found a good deal for two of them on eBay. Shipped directly to my door for about $30. So the CPUs were $17 or $18, and the shipping was like $8. And I found them here in Texas, so they'll be here shortly, and then we can do a video on that. But for now, I'm gonna log into this unit and get the IP address in there. But for now, I want to give it a hard-coded IP or static IP. So let's do that 192.168.5.7. Everything else looks good. We want to turn IPv6 off. Okay. And again, we're going to call this ESXi-Dell 710 Dell 710-LP. And the DNS suffix should be correct. Let's see. Yes, ujp.local. So I go ahead and save this and reboot. And then once it reboots, then we can do the pass-through on the SAS controller. So let's get logged into this VMware server now and see if we can't pass through the controller on here as well. Okay, so the server is up. So let's go over to manage. Let's set our time and date first. Come down here to time and date. Web interface is a little sluggish. Okay, edit settings. So we're going to use network time, and we're going to start and stop it with the host. And we're going to pool.ntp.org is going to be our NTP server. And then we're going to go over here to services. And we're going to start it. Okay, it's running now, so let's come back to system. Let's refresh. And now it's getting our time and date, so that's good. So then let's go over here to hardware. And we want to select the LSI Dell 6 gigabit per second SAS HBA adapter. And we want to pass that through. We're just going to use the LSI logic. And then we're coming here to host. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut down this host because I want to do a cold startup. So I'm just going to tell it here to shut down. We have the Dell R710, the low-powered unit with the L5640 CPUs. And then we have the Dell 710, the high-powered one with dual X5670 CPUs. And so the plan is to replace these 5640s with two of these 5670s. I ordered them off eBay the other day. They're due here. They may be in the mail for all I know. Who knows? But the next step is to get these ESXi units connected up to shared storage. So that's my next task. So that's going to be the flash station that these connect to. And I have an NFS share over here. Let's see, let's go under shared. NFS Lab ESXi. So there it is. And here's the path. So, first thing I'm going to do, the low-powered one, I'm going to add a data store. I'm going to mount an NFS. The name is going to be FS 1018. And the IP is 192.168.5.17. And the share is /volume1 /volume1 NFS Lab hyphen ESXi. NFS Lab hyphen ESXi. Right? Let's just go verify NFS Lab dash hyphen dash EXI. Next. Finish, and it was denied. So let's make sure this is 5.7. No, it isn't. We need to edit. Change that to 5.7. Save. Save. And then let's try it again. Mount. And this is the FS. Sorry. Hit the wrong keys. FS 1018 at 5.17, and it's /volume volume 1 /NFS Lab hyphen ESXi. I think is the correct one. Next, finish. I should be able to, there we go. I can browse it. Good. Okay, so that worked. So we can ignore this error message. Now, we need to make sure 10 is on the approved list. So we'll come back here to Synology and make sure there's 10. So 10 can connect as well. Here we go, NFS permissions. Okay, so let's go here to storage, data store, mount. It's going to be FS 1018 on 5.17 / volume 1 / NFS lab hyphen ESXi. Next, finish. Ba-bing. Ba-bing, and there's our data store. Good. Good, good, good. So now on both of these units, we have shared storage set up, and we should see 5.7 connected via NFS, and then there's 5.11, 5.10. So, and like I've said before, I just really like the way that ESXi handles the pass-through of devices. Now, I've chosen 2 servers because it's going to be a lab environment, and I want to be able to experiment with things like vMotion, that kind of thing, and show you how it works when you have multiple servers. We'll also be putting vCenter on there as well, and I'll do a video on that, taking you through soup to nuts and even getting it configured. I'm also using Synology shared storage, as you saw when I did the video. And that's a benefit of having those Synologies around. I've got that FS 1018. It's got really fast, well, really fast, comparatively speaking, to spinning Rust. And I think that's the best way to go. I'm not worried about, one of the benefits of Proxmox was you could run like ZFS as your file system, as well as running Proxmox as your hypervisor. But I'm just not a big fan of that interface. So maybe in a few years, or in a few months, if they improve it, we'll look at it again. And I want the pass-through of hardware to be as simple as possible. I don't want to have to... The problem is I'm so fearful of putting in the wrong command in the command line and hosing a server. I've done that before. So this will give us the capability moving forward of loading all kinds of different operating systems on these VMware hosts, and playing around with it and migrating machines and that kind of thing. And maybe we'll all learn something together along the way. That's my hope anyway. Well, there you go. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. Please give us a thumbs up down below if you liked the video. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that notification bell to be notified of new videos when they come out. Please come back and see us again. Check out our Discord. Check out our, if you want access to our Minecraft server, let me know on keyjoesplayhouse@gmail.com. Patreon, PayPal, YouTube join function. You know the routine. And please don't forget, see all of you on the other side.